Hello everybody, Chef Bob here today, and today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite chili recipes. I like to call it game day chili. It's not an overly complicated chili, but it's a little more complex than the simplest chilies. And I think it has a lot of flavor and you'll really like it, especially on one of those special game days like Super Bowl or something like that. So, as you see, we have our ground chuck, our pinto beans, a variety of tomatoes, tomato sauces, and our spices. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is going to prepare our onion, our green pepper, and our jalapeno pepper. I'm going to clean them up, and then I'm going to slice them and dice them in a little genius slicer dicer right here. So I'll show you how to do that, and let's get going. Okay, I finished preparing my vegetables so I can chop them. What I've done was I just chopped off the stems or the outer shell of the onion, and I made them into smaller pieces so I can put them in my dicer. What I've done was the green peppers, you can see, I've made in small pieces, and I've removed the seeds and the inner white part of the pepper. Now for the jalapenos, I left the seeds intact. I like to do that for my jalapenos. So now I'm just going to put them in the chopper and chop them up. This is a Genius food chopper. It's a smaller version of that larger one you may have seen me use when I make the beef stew and some of the other recipes. It's nice when you're making smaller quantities and you don't need that larger chopper. Well, you can see the size of the chunks. I'll show you when I'm done. I don't like them super fine, but I also don't want very large chunks in my chili. We're almost done. Okay, so there you have. I'll show you. In fact, I'll put them out here on the pad so you can see the kind of dice it provides. It's a nice, small to medium sized dice, and I find that to be a very nice size for the chili. So now that we have that done, what we'll do is let me clean up. I'm going to pull the pressure cooker over, and we're going to brown our ground chuck. I have 2.5 pounds of ground chuck. I'm going to brown it in the pressure cooker first. So let me move things around and see you back here in a minute. Okay, so I'm back. Let's get started browning our ground beef. Now I'm going to brown it in the pressure cooker to minimize the number of dirty pots and pans and just make it easier for cleanup. I have 2.5 pounds of ground chuck. It's fairly lean, and on the pressure cooker I'm using today, it has a stainless steel liner. And that makes it nice for browning or searing meats like this. So I'm just going to put, I'm going to put a little bit of coconut oil in here just to get it started, so it doesn't burn on the bottom. I'm just going to put that, not a lot, just a little bit to help it out when it first starts to brown. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm just going to dump this in here and then basically use my silicone spoon to get it going. Now this is going to take a couple of minutes to heat up and to get browning in here. So I'll bring you back here after a few minutes once it starts to get browned up, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, it's been a few minutes. The ground beef is lightly browned. There's no more red or pink color. This is, I can lift it okay. It's not too hot. I don't know if you can see a little bit. It's just, starting to brown up pretty good. So what I'm going to do is, right now, I'll add our onion, green bell pepper, and our jalapeno pepper to the ground beef. This was 2.5 pounds, and again, it was 1 pepper, 1 onion, 1 jalapeno. Let me just get all of that in there. Okay. Stir it around a little bit. Now while I'm sauteing all these vegetables and the meat together, getting their flavors to blend together, we'll go over our spices. Now, I have quite a variety of spices here. We have our traditional chili powder, which you buy. You can have your own branded chili powder. I like to use about 2 tablespoons per pound of meat. So 2.5 pounds means I'll have 5 tablespoons of chili powder. So I'm just going to mix that in right now. To that, I have 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. We're going to add a lot of tomato products that have a lot of acids, and that can become quite tart or have, you know, a little unpleasantness. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar to make sure that we just have tomato flavor without too much acid. To that, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of oregano. And now I have the mortar and pestle out because I'll have to grind these a little bit by hand. I have 1 tablespoon of cumin and 1 tablespoon of coriander. I think I'll do them separately. So let me show these to the camera. You know, the coriander are the small seeds, and the cumin, you could put them in their whole if you like. I just want to run them through the mortar and pestle and try to break them up a little bit. It also helps bring out the flavors when you do this. Helps crush them up, release the oils. Wow, you can really smell the flavor of the cumin coming out here as I grind it up. And this is one of the ingredients that can really make or break a chili. Without this, you'll notice the chili is good, but it might be missing something. It's very simple, not very complex. And this adds one of those essential flavors, I think, to a chili. So now we add the cumin. Now I'll see if I can just break up this coriander a little bit without making a mess. This is a cast iron mortar and pestle. It works fairly well. I like it. Wow, now the smell is really coming out of the coriander too. I think that about does it. Okay. Now we have 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Now we have, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, very important. Give this all a good stir. And in here I have a half teaspoon of turmeric and another half teaspoon of paprika. Now a lot of times I'll also add maybe a half teaspoon to a teaspoon of cayenne if I want to make it really spicy. If you like spicy chili, by all means add some cayenne and possibly some red pepper flakes. I would add both of those. But I know that not everyone likes it spicy, so I left those out this time. So now these are fairly well mixed together. I don't know if I can show this to you. Maybe the overhead camera can get a good view of this. But this smell is fantastic. All of those spices, the onions, the peppers, the ground beef. So I'll let this go for a minute or two, and then I'll be back and we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, this has been going for another couple of minutes, and it really does smell great. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add, I think we'll add the tomato products next. I have about a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. You know, so if you're a size close to that, it's about 28 ounces I have right here. And those are crushed tomatoes. Okay. Next, I have about 15 ounces of diced tomatoes. Okay. And then finally, I have about 15 ounces of tomato sauce. And this is going to give us a nice tomato base. I'm going to give this a good stir. Now, this is going to be chili with beans. So now we're going to add the beans. I have some dried pinto beans. I have 2 cups of dried pinto beans. They're not soaked. They weren't pre-soaked. They're not from a can. These are very hard, dry pinto beans. So I'm going to add 2 cups of pinto beans. And to that, I'm going to add 4 cups of water. Because when they hydrate, they're going to soak up most of this water. Now I'm going to give this a stir. And this is going to take quite some time. So now we're going to put our lid on and set our pressure because we're basically done. The hard part's over. So I have the pressure valve closed and I'm going to set it for 45 minutes. And we're all set. So this should take about 45 minutes. I'll bring you back. Now what happens is in 45 minutes, it really depends on the beans you're using, the type of beans and the humidity and how dry they are. So what happens is we'll check it in 45. And if the beans still aren't done, then we'll add maybe up to another 15 minutes for a full hour. So we'll see how long that goes. But I'll bring you back in about 45 minutes and we'll give it a taste. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes and let's see how our game day chili turned out. I've let it cool off. Actually, it's been a little more than 45 minutes. I let the pressure cooker go for 45 minutes and then I let it cool down for about another 10 minutes naturally and then I released the remaining pressure. Looks very good and smells very, very good. Let me get some of this out of here. Stir it up a little bit. This looks wonderful. I don't know if I can get that, if you can see that in the camera. Now, let's put some toppings on. How about a little bit of cheddar cheese? Oh yeah. Now if you like, you can put some extra hot sauce in there, some crackers. You can put this over macaroni or whatever you like. Now I know this is going to be very, very hot, so let's see. It smells fantastic. Here we go. All the spices add this complex flavor, and the beans and the meat. Very, very good. Now at 45 minutes, the beans still have some texture. If you like your beans to be, you know, really soft, more on the mushy side, you'll want to go for probably another 15 minutes under pressure. Or if you're going to have this set on a medium, you know, leave it in the pressure cooker on medium, or maybe you're going to transfer it to a crock pot and have it out for a couple of hours for an event, then they'll soften up some more. Also, it'll thicken up a little bit. Right now, this is more of a way you can see the texture of this. But it's a fairly loose chili. It's not one that's really thick like, you know, like some of the thicker types of chilies. If you like it a little thicker, you can always put a little cornstarch or corn flour. I like to mix a little corn flour in there, put it in there, and cook it in a little bit. But this is fine. I like it like this. It's delicious. The ingredients all just blended together to create a wonderful chili flavor. I think you'll really like it, and I recommend you give this one a try. Now again, as like I said with all the recipes, with the spices, use this as a starting point. If you find you want a little less of one spice, more of another, add different spices, take some out, go right ahead. Make it your own chili. I'm just trying to show you how to make a, you know, a good baseline chili, which you'll be very proud of making and then serving to your friends and family. So thank you for watching. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please click the like, thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. And I'm going to have some more of this chili. Thank you for watching.